Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Melissa Goodstein. I'm the immediate past president of the NYACP, and I'm thrilled that Ivy Menchel is going to be joining us this for our collaborative chat, our continuing series, where we get to learn a little bit more about the wonderful collaborative colleagues in our association. So, Ivy is a financial specialist. She is from the Family Wealth Planning Partners. That's the name of your firm. She's a CFP, a CBEC, a CDFA, and as Ivy said, she has more credentials than the spelling of her name. But I'm so thrilled that you're joining us today, Ivy.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm so excited too, Melissa.
Yeah. So, Ivy, tell me a little bit about your family. Where did you grow up?
So as I always say, I'm a borough child. I grew up in the borough of Queens. I
Okay.
was born in Forest Hills, and then we moved to Bayside when I was 8. So I spent my formative years in Bayside.
Okay.
Um, I'd say that I come from a traditional kind of family, very male-dominated kind of family. Boys were it, especially from my father's side of the family. I remember even, like my grandparents would always ask my brother what he wanted to do when he grew up, and they would like never ask me, that
Oh,
kind of stuff.
wow. So it was a
Um,
different generation, right?
it was a totally different generation. And I would say, like, what about me? I'm older. And I remember one time my grandmother just taking my hand and patting my hand. So, like,
Really?
so yeah, it's funny. But I mean, I feel like I had a very good childhood, and my parents were great. They, my father worked. My mother sometimes worked at little things, but she was home a lot, so she was very involved in our lives.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So in growing up there, and how did you, what got you motivated to go into the field that you're in now, and to, because you have a pretty dynamic practice, Ivy. I mean, you really made a name for yourself,
Oh,
and
that's sweet.
coming, and so where did you get that drive, and how did you get into the financial field?
Sort of like the back door. I actually, my undergraduate degree is in psychology, so I always wanted to like help the world.
Wow.
And I had applied to graduate school when I graduated college. And then, well, I guess I should take a step back. When I was younger, I had skipped a grade. So after I applied to graduate school, I was like, I have this extra year that other people don't have. So I said, oh, let me take off a year and then I'll go to graduate school. Two friends had an apartment. There was an extra bedroom in the apartment. They were like, oh, do you want to like live with us? So there went graduate school. Oh, let me live with my friends instead of going to graduate school. And I was working in the apparel industry, and I grew very quickly. By the time I was 25, I was sales manager of a children's wear company. And I realized that I had a business sense, even though my education was social sciences.
Uh-huh.
I did take Echo 101, but that was because Alan Lakin taught it and he was very handsome and I wanted to watch him. I didn't really care about supply and
What
demand.
what school did you go to?
Stony Brook. I went to Stony
Oh,
Brook.
oh, okay.
At the time, it had the best psych department,
Yeah, it's an amazing school, Stony Brook. Wow. So you were in the apparel business. So when you graduated with a psychology, what was your degree from undergraduate? Psychology?
My degree was in psychology.
Yeah.
So then I started to work and it was like, I, I don't really like this business, but I was making a lot of money. So the money kept me there for a little while, and then and I tell people this all the time, I did a T chart. What do I like to do? What don't I like to do? What am I good at? What am I
Mm,
not good at? And so I narrowed it down. You're going to laugh. I narrowed it down to either becoming a financial planner, which we know the punchline is I became one, or I was going to go back to school and get a dual degree in law and psychology. But I went for the
in-
financial, I went for the
Interesting.
financial planner.
Interesting. Wow. Wow. So, and are you married? Like, do you have a family yourself? Or tell me a little bit about you.
I'm single. I've never been married. I came close twice.
Oh,
That's a story for those, both of those are stories for another time.
wow.
Um, but I'm very lucky. I'm very close with my niece and nephew.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
when they were kids, we used to tell them that they had two mothers.
Oh, that's
And
so
I,
sweet.
yeah, no, it's really so sweet. And I know I
Oh,
did right by them. Actually, my nephew just got married this past September, and he and his now wife, they asked me to officiate the wedding. So I know I
oh
did
my God.
by them.
Oh, so you did more than good. That's so so touching. Wow,
Yeah,
that's really wonderful.
it was the
So
biggest honor of my life.
I could imagine. I could definitely imagine. So you were able, so you got your financial, then you went, so then you did you branch out by yourself? Like, how did you get into collaborative? Like, because that's like,
Okay.
how did you get down on that road?
Um, So I was in financial services, I think for about 10 years. And I had heard about the divorce financial analyst designation. And my parents actually got divorced after 34 years of marriage. And I guess that molded me and shaped me in a lot of ways because
Yeah.
I saw for them, like their
Mm,
attorneys were trying to like create the tension,
mm,
and they really didn't have that much. They had truly like outgrown each other at that point,
right, right.
and it was a pretty amicable divorce, but the attorneys kept trying to create the tension.
Right, right.
And then like how things sort of happen together. So
Yeah.
like I had a couple of friends that were going through divorce and a couple of clients that were going through divorce. They were asking me questions, and I knew I needed to learn more about divorce.
Hmm.
So that's when I found out about the certified divorce financial analyst designation
Hmm.
I went for.
Hmm.
And as I learned more about divorce, I happen to be like risk averse.
Hmm.
So for me, the the less adversarial team approach to divorce
Hmm.
made so much sense.
Right.
So, and I think what's kept me here, quite frankly, I love the community. I think that the people are just, I
Yeah.
love the people.
It's a good working, it's a good group of colleagues to work with when you
Yep.
are like-minded. And I'm sure your psychology background really comes into play. You're really able to utilize that. I know you've done programs on the psychology of money and all of that, but
Mhm.
it's very integrated. It sounds like a really natural fit for you in that way.
It does feel natural. I mean, I always joke around, because money is so emotional. I always say to people, even though I'm not a practicing psychologist, I like play one every day. I just don't have a
Oh,
shingle
right.
hanging outside of
That's
my
right.
door.
That's right. That's right. No, really. And coming from that, entering into the field, was there a mentor that really helped you along the way to kind of get onto this career path and really helped you build your practice?
That's a good question. I think that I've learned from so many people. Um, when I first started, there was a gentleman. I started my financial career at Merrill Lynch, and there was an older gentleman that really took me under his wing and taught me like so many little lessons, like all those little lessons that added up to big things.
That's right.
But
That's so generous to do that and to take
yeah,
someone on like that and to give the time because that's are so it's so impactful. You lean into those things and you remember those moments and are able to tap into it.
right. You must have had them also.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure, along the way, it's just that, and I try to do the same and reciprocate because I know how meaningful it was for me for somebody to really say, "Hey, you matter. Let me take a moment and
Mhm.
teach you this and be patient." And and it's you're just like a sponge. You want that, and you want that. Getting their wisdom is you can go to school all you want, but that wisdom from people in the trenches is
Right.
where the real learning happens.
That's
I mean,
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those little things, even like when you go to conferences, right? Like, yeah, you learn in the sessions, but I learn more from talking one-on-one with people.
So I totally agree. I mean, for law school, for me, my best was working throughout law school at a law firm. And that I remember more from that than, quite frankly, law school, honestly.
Oh, sure. Right.
And I enjoyed it better. I just like learning by doing, right? It's one
Right.
thing, no, but everyone has different learning styles. It's always nice to kind of get that and have those relationships. So in terms of, the work, because you've been doing this for quite a while, Ivy. How long have you been in this area already, in the divorce area?
In the divorce area, so I've been in financial services for over 30 years. I don't know how
Oh,
that's
wow.
possible because I'm only 25, so the
Yeah,
math.
right. Right.
Um, and I've been doing divorce work, I think it's over 16 years now.
That's yeah. So is there any kind of divorce tips that come to mind when you're helping people just navigate from that neutral, because you're coming in a neutral, which is so foundationally important in the collaborative process. Your neutrality, I think, along with the family specialist, really anchors the process in a really profound and important way. Is there like some divorce tips that come to mind, that you've, been able to kind of impart and share with us?
I guess I would have to say know your numbers. And I
Mhm.
don't mean like to know every single detail to every single financial matter in your life, but to have a good understanding of where you are. And you really need to know like income, assets,
Right.
liabilities, and spending, but know your numbers.
Yeah, and that's where you
That's
come
going to be
in.
my tagline
Yeah,
now.
yeah, that's like your tagline, like the Housewives. I watched the Real Housewives of those taglines. That's a good thing. I love it. But
Yeah.
it is true, getting that education and that proficiency, that literacy is
Yeah.
just so important, because I find, some people come to the process and just not even knowing like anything about what they have, what their budget is, and just really needing to get that understanding, because it is a financial agreement at the end. I mean, it
Mhm.
does have to do with children for sure when you have children and the parenting, but at the end, this is a financial settlement. And that's why I
Right.
think the financial professionals are so integral to the process and helping with educating and getting that better understanding and a shared understanding.
Right. Look, and I say this all the time, marriage is about love, but divorce is about money and assets. Not that everybody doesn't want the kids
Yeah,
to be okay, um,
right.
but to your point, it's a financial agreement. So you really do need to have a good understanding. And I can't tell you how many times, um, whether I'm a neutral or not, but that, the less knowledgeable spouse, they're in tears in my office, or
Mm.
sometimes Zoom these days, but that, and they're so upset and they want to spend time like just blaming themselves and feeling sorry for themselves. And I think it's so important to try and educate them and empower them so they can negotiate with more confidence,
Right. That's right. So you come in, Ivy, as like in the collaborative process, you're coming in as a neutral, but you also have another aspect of your practice, which is the advising
Mhm.
capacity. And you
Right,
can even work, if you're not coming in a collaborative team in a neutral way, coming in for one spouse, maybe post divorce, and advising and helping them manage. Because it's one thing to get
right,
to the settlement, then managing that settlement is a whole other area that
right.
might need some support. So it sounds like you come in different places in that way.
Yeah, because like, and then what? So this could be the largest lump sum of money that they've ever received. And now what?
Right, right,
It's so important to work with, to work with somebody that they feel comfortable with, who truly understands them.
right. And their interests, what their goals are, because
Yeah.
that's what the collaborative process is. It's all
Mhm.
about, baseline, what matters to you? What are you
Right.
worried about? And how can we kind of keep that front and center and help you move forward in the best way possible? And the work that we do, Ivy, is really hard, getting into the
Mhm.
trenches and being in the
Yeah.
trenches with that level of conflict. As a professional, what do you do to kind of unwind and just kind of de-stress? Because it's stressful. It
It's
is.
very stressful. Um, I mean, So I do a couple of things. So first of all, I do feel fortunate that the divorce work isn't my only practice. Because I
Yeah.
don't know how you guys do it 24/7. At least I get
Okay.
a break from it. That's number
Right, right,
one.
right. So you're
Um,
diversified, right? I mean, we do some happy things like prenups and,
right.
ups and keeping marriages, like preparing and keeping together, but it is, most of my work is in the divorce area.
And it's
Yeah.
hard, it's hard. You're really meeting people at their worst. I mean, I work
Oh,
out a lot. Um,
that's great.
I probably work out most weeks. I do something, usually
Great.
at least like 5 or 6 days a week, because I think
Uh,
it's so important. Not really what it does physically, though, of course, what it does physically, but also mentally,
for
that it
sure,
helps.
for
Um,
sure.
and then I try to get outside. I'm a big outdoor person, so I try to get outdoors a lot, whether it's, cycling or the beach or hiking in the mountain, just
That's
get
really nice.
outside and try to eliminate as much stimulation as possible.
So your practice is in the city, Ivy. Where do you reside in the city as well?
I do, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So the city definitely has a nice energy to it, but it is nice to go out, to
Mhm.
to the country, if you will. But
Yes.
um that's really nice. So in terms of do you like to cook at all? Or do you do takeout? Do you have a signature dish?
So I don't cook much. I don't cook much. I'm a true New Yorker.
Yeah.
I do a lot of take-in if I don't go out to eat, but for holidays and things like that, my family is really good. Not only are like is my immediate family close, but I'm very close with my cousins too. So everybody always makes a dish.
Well, that's great.
Um, so let's see. So I'm big on matzo balls. That's one of my
Well,
specialties.
oh,
And
it is. Okay. That's a hard thing to muster. Yeah, those I'm a big Jay Cone fan. Yeah, and he's helped me master my matzo ball art, but I'm always very curious about other people. So maybe do you like it like fluffy, dense? Like what does your matzo ball look like, taste?
Um, so I like them medium. When I was younger, I liked the sinkers, but for
Right,
some reason, as I got older, I don't like them if they're too fluffy, because I
right.
feel like you want some substance to
That's
them.
right. That's right. That's right.
And the interest, so I'm allergic to wheat. So the last, I don't know how many years, like 13, 14 years, I had to
Wow.
start mastering gluten-free matzo balls
Wow.
too. Those tend to be more sinkers, but so I make both for my family and it's a lot of fun. What do you like?
I do like a little teeth in it. I don't like them too fluffy, so I that's why I think I like J Cones. It's like a nice balance. But
Yeah,
would you be willing to share your recipe if we ever come out with a collaborative cookbook on your matzo balls? And gluten
absolutely.
free is really interesting to me. That's really interesting.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
yeah, I'll share both.
Oh wow. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's great. Yeah.
What is, yeah, and well, let's see what else. I make a mean quinoa
Oh
and
really?
and I do chocolate coconut clusters for like dessert. That's my thing.
Wow. Wow. Like little mounds bars, like little like
Yeah, but they're like, because I use a spoon, so they're more
right,
round
right, 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 right.
and
Oh, I
they're
love.
not, the coconut's not as fine as it is in the mounds bar. So like,
Oh, I got it. I got
yeah,
it.
there's
Yeah.
a little bit
Oh,
more substance to it.
wow. Wow. Well, maybe both. I really like that. That sounds really good. I'm a big cook. I like
What's
learning
your
about
specialty?
my what's my specialty. You know, I really like vegetables and making like roasted vegetables and doing
Mm,
different kind of like a vegetarian lasagna or
mm,
different kinds of soups
yep.
and just trying new things. I'm all about Ina Garden. I mean, like I'm like a huge fan. And so I go through the Ina Garden cookbook and just try to master the art of being Ina because
Oh,
she
that's
is
great.
my she's my guru. I really like her a lot. And I also like Jay Cohn. So I get a lot of I'm inspired in that way. And
Oh,
I
that's
have a
great.
large family, so I like to, cook and entertain. And it's always nice to get together for the holidays, for
Do
sure.
you cook, do you cook every day?
Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
I'm
I cook
envious
I
of
cook
that.
yeah, I cook. It de-stresses me, Ivy. I in the
Oh,
middle,
interesting.
I will like cook something because make me feel better. Like I like to bake. I like to, I mean, it just gives me joy. It's my love language and my
Oh, that's
service.
so great. Yeah, I'm happy when I order in.
Yeah, but I get it. I was a city girl myself. I mean, ordering it, it's nice too. It's a nice thing. So, in terms of your collaborative experience with NYCP, does anything come to mind as a memorable collaborative experience being a member? Because you've been a member for,
A long
I want to
time.
say at least 10 years, right? Has
Yeah,
it been?
yes, I think, yeah, it's probably even more, but I'm
Yeah,
sure it's been that long.
yeah.
Um, a memorable do you mean as far as the organization or a
At the
case?
organization or the
Okay.
case, just some kind of experience that comes to mind in, in your relationship with NYCP, not only professionally, but just, on a case or just as an organization.
I think, and I can answer it both ways, actually. I think the organization, I mean, I always love the annual meeting. I had like this past year, I had to miss it. I was on vacation. I didn't do a good job planning that, so I missed it, which I was like, oh my God, now I have to wait
Right,
a whole other year.
right.
But um, so many of the speakers that we've had through the years, I've learned so much about myself on a
Mm,
personal level and a professional level. Because obviously
wow.
you're sitting there applying it to your
Yeah,
cases, but then of course it's natural to start to look inward too.
yeah,
And then also, I love the holiday party or dinner
yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
afterwards, because there are so many people that you don't get to see,
That's right.
because you end up seeing more of the local people more
Right,
regularly than you do
right.
all the other people.
For
So,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. It's like a reunion. It's a nice,
exactly, right, exactly.
yeah,
And again, the people who choose collaborative are good people. So
yeah,
I really get
yeah.
so energized from them.
Right. It's again being with like-minded people who share your values
Mhm.
and your what you hope to accomplish in the service that you're providing, and to be united in that is a commonality. That is
Right.
a deep connection, and it is really nice. It's really
Yeah.
nice. So, in terms of where you hope to be in 10 years, I always kind of like to end with that. Where do you
Okay.
hope to be in 10 years? Where do you hope collaborative to be? Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So, in 10 years from now, I hope to be the premier financial services firm in our region.
That's great.
And, I think that I would love to see collaborative as the first stop, the
Mm.
first choice in divorce. I think that the team approach, and obviously I may be a little biased, but I think that there should be a financial professional on every single case.
I agree.
So
You don't have to, yeah, I
right.
totally agree. I totally agree. It
And the
should,
same thing with the family specialist,
yeah,
because
yeah,
there's so much emotion there. So I mean, I would love to see it as the first stop, the first thought, not the, second or third,
mm,
or, and where it becomes so mainstream and people really know what it is, so that we don't have to explain what it is, that people
yeah.
know.
Right. I love it. I think that's a wonderful goal. And I think you're way on your way, really. You really are. You've accomplished so much, and you've been such a service and such a, for the couple, for the families in our area. I think it's just such a valuable service we offer, to just, resolve conflict in a better way and to be able to move on and preserve that family, whatever how you want to define it. We're helping
Hmm.
them get there.
Right.
Um, well, I really so enjoyed speaking with you, Ivy. If
That's
people want to
great.
get in contact with you, you're I know you're really way on your way to your practice, 'cause you're all over there. You have a great
Thank you.
website. You're involved in so many committees, and you do a lot of work for NYCP. But if people want to contact you, you have like a website, right? With your family.
Yep.
What is the
W
name of it? Yeah.
www.familywealthpp, two P's like in Peter.com.
Okay, love it. And you're also on the NYCP website if people want to
Yes,
reach you.
they can
Well,
find me.
thank you. This has been so wonderful. Thank you for your time, sharing, just where you've been, where you want to be, and just about your practice. It's been really wonderful speaking to you.
Oh, this was great, Melissa. Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Okay, thank you so much.